Good morning and welcome to News Desk on Joy News Multi TV. Coming up in this broadcast, confusion rocks the NPP as irate supporters storm party headquarters to forcibly remove General Secretary and party chairman from office. Customers of ADB stranded as workers embark on a nationwide sit-down strike to demand the bank's managing director to step aside. Poultry farmers implore government to stiffen security measures to prevent further spread of bird flu in the country. Also ahead, state burial for late Mrs. Theodosia Okon underway as family and friends bid the designer of the nation's flag farewell. There's also business and sports in this package. My name is Kobna Chenche. You're welcome to News Desk. So our very first story this hour, and workers of the Agric Development Bank have this morning begun what they call a sit-down strike. Now the action is to demand the resignation of the bank's board members and managing director Stephen Boji. Kemini Amano reports that as of 8:30 a.m., customers of the bank's branch at Ring Road in Accra were left stranded as the banking hall remained closed. Let's get more on this. Kemini joins me now over the telephone with much more on what is happening now. So, Kemini, what's the latest? Is there any improvement in the situation now?
Hello, I'm not sure I heard the question. Can you come again?
Yes, I'm asking, what's the latest on this? Are the offices of the banks now open?
The offices are open, but you remember also that it's a sit-down strike, as they call it. So they are at work, yes, but they are turning away customers. For instance, I went to the Osu branch. At the Osu branch where banking hall should have opened at 8:30. It was there, but the staff would not attend to any customers. Customers were outside of the banking hall. I spoke with about 2 of them, and I counted about 3 staff members inside of the bank, but would not allow customers to go in to be served, mainly because of the strike, the action they have taken. Then I came over to the head office branch, which is at the Accra Financial Center. Over there, there is more activity. You see that these workers are there, they're moving about, sending around their papers and all that, but they are turning away customers. I counted about 5 of them were sent away from the Accra Financial Center. So the thing was, if you had your ATM card, then you quickly go to the machine and withdraw your money. But if you didn't, you'd be stranded. And indeed, one customer was stranded. He had mentioned that he had no money on him. He was hoping that he would come to the bank, get some money from there, and then go to wherever he needed to get to. But he got there, nobody was ready to attend to him. He had his check in his hand, but there was no bank teller was ready to offer him any service. And so what happened was he had to be given money by one member of staff who had seen that this man was indeed stranded. And so that's the situation right now. You also recall the management has come out to say there is no strike. But from the visits I have made already, I can say that indeed, from 8:30 till now, they have been on the sit-down strike.
I see. Now, obviously, customers ought to be a bit displeased with what is currently going on. I'm sure they must have been sharing some frustrations with you. What have they been saying?
You have the nail right there. Customers are displeased about this whole thing, especially for those who had no idea of the impasse between management and the bank. The question they asked management was, or even the workers was, why wouldn't you inform your customers that this is what you're doing? You make them travel all the way from their various homes and come to the bank to transact business, and they can't do that. Mind you, the money there is for them. You're just keeping it for them. And there was one woman who told me that, look, this has the capability of making me withdraw my services or withdraw my account with the Agricultural Development Bank. They also pleaded that government steps into the situation and deals with it before it gets out of hand. In fact, one man who knew about the impasse was saying that if it has to do with one person stepping aside, then that person should step aside because that person's interest cannot supersede the rest of the customers, or to supersede the customers who do business with the bank.
Now, with these banks you visited, is it that the management of those particular branches are also in support of this, so they've sanctioned it in a way, or is because it's a union thing they don't really have a say?
I'm not sure I got that.
I was asking that with the management of these branches that you've been to, have they sanctioned this particular action by their members, by their staff, or because it's a unionized action, they really do not have a say in this?
I'm not sure I get your question, but if you're asking if the workers are in support of this, obviously their action right now, which I have seen, it's clear they are in support of the union's for a down strike. And so they are not serving customers. So we could say that indeed they are in support of.
Hello, Kemini.
Yeah, Kwabena.
Okay. Now, finally, before you go, let me ask, what has been the response from authorities of the bank itself as regards this action by UNICOF?
Authorities, by authorities, you mean management?
Yes, indeed, top-level management.
Okay, so I went upstairs to the management office, particularly the PR and communication office, and I was told that they were doing some internal assessment. After the assessment, they'll come up with they'll speak to the media definitely on what is going on at the moment. But like I said earlier, when sometime around 8:15, management released a statement. It was not on any sit-down strike. All the branches nationwide will be working. So we are yet to know if this internal assessment has to do with assessing the branches that are on strike or not, or it has to do with something else. So we'll have that information and then we'll tell our viewers about it.
I see. All right. Kemini, thank you very much for that update. That's my colleague Kemini Nyamani Amano on that particular beat there, where we are told that some customers of the Agri Development Bank have been left stranded following a decision by UNICOF to actually embark on a nationwide strike, sit-down strike, so they choose to call it. To bring you much more on this subsequently. But moving on to, still staying on the ADB. Now, the Trades Union Congress is calling on government to investigate the cause of the dwindling fortunes of the Agricultural Development Bank. Now, the board of the bank has put on hold the decision to float shares to inject more capital into its operations following an objection by workers and threats of legal action by the minority in Parliament. The General Secretary of the TUC, Kofi Asamoah, claims the bank is borrowing between 60 and 100 million cedis from the interbank market on a daily basis just so they can survive.
It will be recalled that in 2006, government attempted to sell off 48% Bank of Ghana shares in ADB. The argument then was that as regulator of the banking industry, the Bank of Ghana shares in ADB represented conflict of interest. The TUC, along with other groups, and I suppose that is why Comrade mentioned about the parties in opposition, everybody joined in the struggle against that sale. Therefore, the intention to sell ADB has all along been there. Today, the dynamics are different. It is no longer the purported conflict of interest. Now it is the fact that the bank has thoroughly been mismanaged. ADB's pre-tax profit for 2014 was a whooping 40% negative, with a credit loss of 59 million. Each share of industry loans declined from 5.8% in 2012 to 3.9% in 2014. For the last 3 years, ADB has not met the Bank of Ghana's capital adequacy ratio. The bank is said to be borrowing between 60 million to 100 million daily on the interbank market in order to survive. In the past years, the bank has sold its shares in Fidelity, Vanguard, Global Access, and Residential Property in prime areas. Yet the bank is treating us now at the brink of collapse. Comrade, ladies and gentlemen, something definitely needs to be done to save ADB. But before that, hard questions need to be asked and answered. What went wrong? Ghanaians deserve answers from the managers of that important national asset. We simply must not accept the excuse by the managers of ADB that being owned by the government was the problem, and that once it's privatized, all the problems will disappear. I feel outraged that those who have presided over this mismanagement are still at post. We urge President to delve deeper into the ADB saga and tell Ghanaians what exactly is going on in the ADB, because we suspect that there is some kind of dance that is going on. This must be done at least to dispel the notion that state enterprises are deliberately mismanaged to make it easier for privatization.